Good morning, students. Today we will discuss about Davison and Germer experiment. Here Davison and Germer, these are the famous physicists, or you can call it as these are the scientists. They conducted an experiment. That experiment name is called as Davison and Germer experiment. This is the experiment. By using this experiment, they concluded that the electron is also behave like a wave. For example, according to Albert Einstein, what he told, the radiation is behave like a particle. The radiation is not only, the light is not only behave like a wave property, it is also behave like a particle nature, because what he told, the light consists of the smallest particles called as photons. That's why it is also having the behavior of wave. Like that, here according to the assumption or de Broglie hypothesis, what he told, if the light is behave like a particle, why not particle is behave like a wave? Here electron is a particle. The light behave like a particle means the light is behave like particle as well as wave. The light behave like a particle, but why particle is not behave like a wave? That is the question here. That's why Davison and Germer, they conducted an experiment. By using this experiment, what they concluded, the particle, here particle is nothing but an electron. The electron is not only a particle, it is also behave like a wave. That's why this is the experimental arrangement of Davison and Germer experiment. The conclusion of this experiment is, this experiment, by using this experiment or by observing or by studying this experiment, there is a conclusion. That conclusion is nothing but, this is showing the wave nature of electron also. The electron is a particle, but being a particle, that particle is also showing wave nature. And the experimental arrangement of this experiment is, here this is a heater, this is a low tension battery to heat this metal. This metal is called as, this filament or metal is nothing but a tungsten filament is there. By using a low tension battery, we are going to heat this filament. Whenever this is heating to a high temperature, there is an emission of electron from this tungsten is taking place. By using heat energy, there is an emission of electron is taking place in the sense, this is which type of emission? This is thermal emission. Next, this one is a high tension battery. At the instant whenever the electron are emitting from the filament, to provide kinetic energy to these ejected electrons, we are going to use the battery is called as a high tension battery. And this is a rheostat. To control the potential difference between these 2 points, we are going to use one of the electrical instrument, that is called as a rheostat. And voltmeter, it is used to measure the potential difference between these 2 points. And this is the cylinder. This is the arrangement. This is providing alignment to the electrons. These are the ejected electron beam. They are moving towards the nickel target. This target is a nickel, or this metal is a nickel. These are the layers of the nickel. We are using nickel as a metal because the nickel having heavy atoms. Whenever the electrons are hitting this metal, these electrons are not escaping. That's why the atoms of these nickels are heavy. That's why we are using the nickel as a target here. And next one, this one is movable collector, and that there is a device called as a galvanometer. The galvanometer is an electrical device used to measure the current, and this is possible to move on this circular scale. This is a circular scale, and that this galvanometer is moving, because whenever the electron hitting the nickel target, after hitting, these electrons are reflecting in different directions. For example, some electrons are moving at this angle, some electrons are moving at this angle, some electrons are moving at this angle, some electrons are reflecting at this angle, some electrons are reflecting at this angle. For a different scattering angle, this galvanometer is collecting the electrons. At the 10 degree, it is collecting the electrons and showing the current, and at the 20 showing the current. This phi is scattered angle or diffracted angle. Why we are calling it as a scattered angle? This is the angle between incident electron beam and scattered electron beam. The angle between incident ray and reflected ray, that angle is called as, that is scattered angle. And this theta is called as a glancing angle. Theta is called as a glancing angle. What is glancing angle? It is the angle between reflected beam of electron and the plane of the nickel layer. This angle is called as glancing angle and phi is called as a scattering angle. And here, this is the rheostat, high tension battery used to provide kinetic energy to the electrons. How it is providing? Whenever the electron is emitting from the filament, the charge of the electron is negative, but this battery positive is connected to this end of the cylinder. This is becomes a positive potential. That's why it is attracting electrons with more energetically. Whenever this point is attracting the electrons, then the electrons are moving with very high velocity. Whenever the velocity of the electron is increases, the kinetic energy of those electrons is increases. Just to increase the kinetic energy of the ejected electrons, we are going to use a high tension battery. This is a low tension battery, this is high tension battery, and this is a filament depth, or this is a tungsten. This low tension battery we are going to use just to heat the filament. By heating this one, the electrons are emitting. This emitted electrons get the kinetic energy by using which battery? High tension battery. Just to provide the kinetic energy to the electrons, we are going to use a high tension battery. To heat this filament, we are going to use, that is, low tension battery. And this is the cylinder just to provide the alignment to the electrons. And these are the electrons going and hitting the nickel target. Some electrons are reflecting at the angle of 10, at the angle of 20, at the angle of 30. That's why this is a circular scale, and that circular scale, this galvanometer needs to be moving. It is collecting electrons here and showing the current, collecting here, showing the current, collecting here, showing the current. For different scattering angles, the galvanometer collecting the number of electrons and also showing the current in the reading here. And here, by using this experiment, we know that we need to study the wave nature of electron. Just we can check whether the electron having only a particle nature or wave nature. As you know very well, the electron is a particle, but is it having the wave nature? That we can study now. Let us consider, by using the rheostat, what we are going to do, we are taking the some sets of reading. The Davison and German, what they are doing, they are taking some readings in between the accelerating voltage vs current for different scattering angles. First, what they did, they started the potential difference between these 2 points, that is minimum as 44 volt. They started their experiment with the low value, that is accelerating voltage. They kept minimum value is equal to 44 volt. When they kept 44 volt here, that is the potential difference between these 2 points. Then on this battery, by heating, the electrons are emitting from the filament. Already we kept the potential difference between these 2 points, that is equal to 44 volt. These ejected electrons, they are attracted by this potential, and the electrons are moving with the kinetic energy. They are hitting the nickel target. After reflecting, the electrons not only reflecting in this direction, some are coming here, some are coming here, some are coming here, some electrons are coming here, some electrons are coming here. First, you should remember, first what they kept, accelerating voltage is equal to 44 volt. For 44 accelerating voltage, the number of electrons they are checking at 10 degree, at 20 degree, at 30 degree. This is the nature of the graphs. Let us consider it is not a coordinate axis. This is not a coordinate graph. This is a radial graph. They kept V0 is equal to 44 volt. Accelerating voltage is equal to 44 volt. Here, after these electrons hitting the metal and they are spreading in different directions. First, what they did, they checked the number of the electrons reflecting at this point. Those electrons showing that is some amount of the current. That current is nothing but at the 10 degree number of the electrons that is collected by the galvanometer is some electrons. That's why it is showing some current. That current is this much. This is the current value. What I am pointing here, this is the current value. How much degree? That is scattering angle of 10 degree. Next, what they are doing? Again, by galvanometer collecting, the number of the electrons is scattered at an angle of 20 degree. Then, compared to the 10 degree, at the angle of 20 degree, they are getting more electrons. That's why the current is showing some more current. Again, they are checking at 30 degree. It is collecting less number of the electrons. That's why magnitude of current is less. Again, they are checking at 40 degree. It is collecting some electrons and the current is showing current. Again, for 50 degree, it is showing this much current, galvanometer. Again, for 60 degree, it is showing this much current. Again, at 70 degree, it is showing this much current. At 80 degree, this much current. That's why finally, the nature of the graph becomes like this. This is the nature of the graph. Here, at the 10 degree, the galvanometer collected some electrons and showing this much current. At 20 degree, this much current that is showing by galvanometer. At 30, at 40, at 50, these are the current values at a different scattering angle, not a glancing angle, at a scattering angle. And next in the second reading, what they are doing? They are changing the accelerating voltage. First reading, they kept the accelerating voltage, that is 44 volt. In the next step, they are increasing the accelerating voltage. Means they are increasing the potential difference between these 2 points by using rheostat. As you know very well, if you increase the potential difference between these 2 points, it becomes more positive and attracting electron more energetically. If you increase the potential difference between these 2 points, and if you increase the accelerating voltage, then the electron is moving more energetically compared to first one. By increasing the accelerating voltage, what is increases? The kinetic energy of the electron increases. In the second, they increased 44 to 48. By using this one, they made the accelerating voltage is equal to 44 volt. By increasing the accelerating voltage, the kinetic energy of the electron increases. Again, what they are doing? The kinetic energy of the electron increases. The beam of electron is moving, hitting the nickel target, and some electrons are scattered here, some electrons scattered at a different scattering angle. The electrons are scattered. What they are doing? At the 10 degree, the number of the electrons collected by the galvanometer is less. That's why current is less. Again, at 20 degree, number of electrons collected by the galvanometer is somewhat more. That's why current is more. At 30 degree, this is the current shown by the galvanometer. At 40 degree, this is the current shown by the galvanometer. At 50 degree, this is the current shown by the galvanometer. At different values, this is the graph. At the accelerating voltage of 48, the nature of the graph becomes like this. And next, what they are doing? They are increasing again the accelerating voltage from 48 to 54. They increase the potential difference between these 2 points, that is 54 volt. They kept the accelerating voltage 48 to 54. Then again kinetic energy of this electron increases. Again the electrons are moving, hitting the nickel target, and they are spreading everywhere. At each and every scattering angle, this galvanometer collecting the number of electrons and showing the different current. At the 10 degree, it is collecting some electrons and showing this much current. At 20 degree, galvanometer collecting some more electrons. That's why it is showing this much current. Again, at 30 degree, galvanometer collecting some electrons and it is showing this much current. At 40 degree, it is showing this much current. Again, at 50 degree, it is showing this much current. Again, at 60 degree, it is showing this much current. At 70 degree, it is showing that is this much current. At 80 degree, it is showing this much current. These are the readings for the accelerating voltage is equal to. This is the reading for at 54. This one 54 volt. At 10 degree, it is showing this much current. at 20 degree this much current, at 30 degree this much current, at 40 degree this much current, at 50 degree this much current, because at the scattering angle of 50 degree the number of the electrons are maximum, more. Again at 60 degree galvanometer collecting less number of electrons, that's why current is less. Again at 70 degree it is showing again somewhat more electrons, that's why current is more. Again at 80 degree less number of the electrons, again showing less current. This is the nature of the, this one is nature of the graph here. This is nature of graph. And next, again what they are doing, they are increasing V0 accelerating voltage to 64 volt. Then at the 64 volt, at the 64 volt, the readings are like this. At the 64 volt, what are the readings? Here they kept the 64 volt, the potential difference between these 2 points. Then the number of the electrons at the 10 degree, this is becomes less, that's why the current is less. Again at 20 degree, number of electrons collected by the galvanometer is again less, that's why the current is less. At 30 degree, again more number of electrons collected by the galvanometer, that's why current is more. At 40 degree, again almost same electrons are coming. At 50 degree, almost less number of electrons came, that's why current is less. At 60 degree, this is the current. At 70 degree, this is the current. At 80 degree, this is the current. And this one is nature of the graph. Here they checked first. They kept 44 volt as a potential difference or accelerating voltage, and the nature of the graph is like this. They checked 45 also, and that one they plot that graph also, but we didn't clear. And then checked 46 also, 48 also, 49. 48 is here. 49 also they checked. 50 also checked. 51 checked. 52 checked. 53 checked. And 54 checked. 54 is here. And 55 checked. 56 checked. 56, 57, 58 up to 64. 64, 65, 67, so on. Each and every value, for each and every value of accelerating voltage, they checked the nature of the graphs. But up to 64, some values I taken here for 44, 48, 54, 64. By observing all the graphs, here when they kept accelerating voltage is equal to 54 volt, here current becomes maximum. When they kept accelerating voltage or potential difference between these 2 points, that is a 54 volt, then the current becomes maximum. Maximum number of the electrons are collected by the galvanometer at a scattering angle of 50 degree. Here the current is maximum. Here the curve becomes sharp here. This is the peak. Strong peak is appeared here. This is very strong peak. When they kept accelerating voltage is equal to 54 volt at some scattering angle, that scattering angle pi is equal to 50. They are getting this galvanometer collecting maximum number of the electrons. That's why here the current is maximum. This one I am drawing again third one here. At accelerating voltage is equal to 54 volt. 54 volt at that scattering angle pi is equal to 50 degree. They are getting the nature of the curve as that is like this. When they kept the accelerating voltage is equal to 54 volt, then they are getting the maximum electrons at which voltage, at which angle? At the scattering angle. At the scattering angle is equal to 54, 15. When they kept accelerating voltage is equal to 54 volt, the current becomes maximum. And again, for this angle the current is less. For this angle current is less. Again current is less. Current increases, maximum decreases, 0 increases here also. Current becomes 0, increases, maximum decreases, 0 increases, maximum, and again decreases. This nature of the graph we are studying in the chapter as wave optics. The one of the property of the light is there. That property of the light is called as a diffraction. What do you mean by diffraction? The diffraction is property of the light. The light radiation exhibits one of the important property. That property is called as a diffraction of light. What do you mean by diffraction of light? That is spreading of light around the edges of an obstacle. The spreading of the light wave, spreading of the light around the edge of an obstacle. That phenomena of light or the property of that light is called the diffraction of light. In that topic, the diffraction of the light can be or the graphical pattern of that diffraction of light can be observed like this. This is maximum intensity of the light. Again, intensity of the light is goes on decreases, becomes 0. Again increases and becomes maximum, decreases 0. This is intensity of the light. This graph indicating intensity of the light. We are calling it as maximum intensity, central maximum, or else we are calling it as central maximum or maximum intensity of light. Again here 0 intensity, intensity increases, becomes maximum, again decreases, again increases. This is the diffraction pattern of light here. But actually this pattern we are going to get for light only. But here we will not use any light radiation, but instead of light we have taken here the beam of electron. For beam of electron also exhibits the diffraction pattern. That's why here we are observing one point, that is nothing but however the light is having a diffraction pattern and it is the graphical representation of intensity of the light. And here we did not use any light, but here the electron beam is there. For electron beam also we are getting the diffraction pattern like this. That's why by seeing this one we conclude that the electron is also have some wavelength. The electron is not only a particle nature, the electron is also exhibits diffraction pattern or diffraction method. It also exhibits the property of diffraction. Diffraction means the light exhibits the property of diffraction. That's why it is a wave nature. But electron is also having the diffraction nature, means the electron is also behave like a wave. That's why they are going to calculate. They thought that the electron is also have some wavelength, because light exhibits the property of diffraction, but electron is also exhibiting the property of diffraction in the sense the electron is also having some wavelength. That's why they are going to calculate what is the wavelength of that electron here. Let us consider there are two methods. One is that is electron by electron diffraction method, or also called as Bragg's law of diffraction. Let us consider there is a formula, that is 2d sin theta is equal to n lambda, and this is the standard formula. By using this formula we are going to find out the wavelength of this one, and this method is called as Bragg's law of diffraction. Let us consider this is the first electron beam hitting the nickel target and reflecting back. This is first one. And after this is second electron beam and it is hitting the second one and reflecting back. Here compare, this is first one and this is second one. Comparison to first beam of electron, the second beam of electron having more path here. What is the path? Let us consider this distance is a d, and this is 1d, this is 1d, this is 2d. Means 2d is the magnitude of the path difference, that is second electron beam having more compared to first electron beam. That's why here becomes this is 2d. This is glancing angle, this is number of waves, and it is indicating, this one is indicating wavelength of the wave. Here substitute all the value. For n is equal to 1, for n is equal to 1, calculate lambda value. 2 into t value already know that is 0.91 angstrom. 0.91 angstrom in the sense 10 to the power of minus 10 into sine of 65 degree. This is equal to lambda. Why this is 65 degree? The maximum strong peak is appear at the angle of 50 degree. This become 50 means this total is 180. This total is 180. Pi is 50 means this is 65. This is 65. That is 130 plus 50. That is 180. This is 50. This is 65. This is 65. 65, total is 180. That's why theta value is equal to 65. After calculation, lambda value becomes, that is 1.65 into 10 to the power of minus 9 meter, or else lambda is equal to 1.65 nanometer. This is the wavelength of electron beam. This is the wavelength of electron beam by which method? Bragg's law of diffraction. You remember this formula. And again by using de Broglie hypothesis. You check by using de Broglie hypothesis. You know very well the de Broglie formula, de Broglie wavelength, that is lambda is equal to h by p. That is lambda is equal to h by p. This is equal to h as it is. P can be written as for electron. Whenever the electron is accelerating with the potential difference v naught, this formula becomes 2m ev naught. You know very well this one. Momentum can be written as this one. Here simplify h divided by root of 2m e into 1 by root of v naught. Just I splitted this one like this. H by root of 2m e, this is, and I splitted root v naught outside, and this value becomes, if you calculate the value of this one, h is 6.626 into 10 to the power of minus 34 divided by 2 into m mass of the electron, 9.1 into 10 to the power minus 31 into charge of the electron, that is 1.6 into 10 to the power minus 19 coulomb into 1 by v naught. You check this one, we are getting 1.227 into 10 to the power of minus 9 meter divided by this root v naught. Root v naught. Again you can check here. This can be written as lambda is equal to 1.227 nanometer, 10 to the power minus 9 is nanometer, divided by root v naught. V naught value is equal to 54. Lambda is equal to 1.227 nanometer divided by root of 54. If you check this value, lambda becomes 1.67 nanometer. This is by using de Broglie hypothesis. De Broglie hypothesis, or it is calculated value. It is calculated value of wavelength of electron. And this is experimental value of wavelength of electron. Wavelength of electron. Here by Bragg's method as well as by de Broglie hypothesis, the wavelength of the electron is in close agreement. 1.65 and 1.67 both are close with each other. That's why the experimental value, that is calculated value. That's why the wavelength of electron is not become zero. The wavelength of electron is not become zero in both the case, in the sense the electron is also having some wavelength. It is having some wavelength in the sense the electron is also having the which nature? Wave nature. That's why they concluded by using this experiment the electron is also have the wave nature. Then what is the conclusion? The conclusion given by Davison and Germer. Conclusion: electron also have the wave nature. Electron also have wave nature. This is the conclusion given by Davison and Germer. Okay? Thanking you. This is 1 marks question. Just you can remember conclusion of Davison and Germer experiment, that is electron also have the wave nature. Wave nature of electrons, that is the conclusion given by Davison and Germer. Just you can remember that final conclusion only. What is the conclusion of Davison and Germer experiment? That is wave nature of electron. Thank you.